Hey there friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle. For those of you who are brand new around here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Today on the channel, we are gonna kind of go through some of my favorite kitchen staples. So items in my kitchen that I use, if not on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. They are the things that get me through all of my from scratch cooking and just life in general. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the very first thing that I'm gonna say that I could not live without, this really isn't in a chronological order or like an importance order, but it is something that I absolutely use on a daily basis. And that is my Dutch oven. I love this thing. This is actually my second Dutch oven. I just got this a few weeks ago. I have another one that is the Lodge brand, and I've been using it for years and years. It's my absolute favorite. I use it for making bone broth. I use it for making bread in the oven. I use it just for everyday meals, any sort of like mixed together meal of any kind, whether it's soup, whether it's some sort of a stew, whether it's just sort of like mixed together meals like chicken and broccoli and all that kind of stuff, like an Asian dish or whatnot, like a taco bowl. All of that I make in my Dutch oven. Super duper easy. It's super versatile, and it's honestly the only real pot that I use on a regular basis. Every once in a while I will use sort of my old school pots and pans that I got a long time ago for our wedding, but I rarely ever even reach for them anymore because I use this pretty much for everything. The reason why I got a second one is because I was finding days where I wanted to throw a loaf of bread in the oven, but I also wanted to have like a soup or a stew simmering on the stove for a while. So my mom was very lovely to give me her Dutch oven that she doesn't use anymore. So really wonderful. I love when things are for free. That is awesome. And I have been getting a ton of versatility out of this one. This one is from Target. It is the Figment brand, and I believe that this one is either 6 or 6.5 quarts. My other one is 5 quarts. I get great use out of both of them. I think that both are wonderful in a kitchen. You really don't need two, but if you're somebody who's making a lot of things from scratch, two is wonderful, and I've really enjoyed using both brands. So anything that I mentioned today, I will have linked in the description below if you are somebody who's looking to just kind of get your kitchen in a space where you have a ton of wonderful, versatile pieces that are great to use. The next thing that I use on a daily basis is my Lodge cast iron skillets. I love the Lodge brand. Like I said, I have the Dutch oven that is Lodge as well. It is not only a fantastic brand that has great utility to it. I really love the Lodge brand. It is a very heavy duty skillet. It works wonderful in my kitchen. I have 2 of the Lodge cast iron skillets. I believe this one is 12 or 13 inches. The other one I have is 10 inches. I kind of rotate them back and forth. I got the original one. My original one was 10-inch one when it was just me and my husband. And then when we started having babies, the larger one just made more sense to make larger meals, obviously. So this actually sits on the stove all of the time, along with my Dutch oven. Because I use them daily, sometimes I will use this cast iron skillet several times a day. So it pretty much just lives there. It's super easy. We make eggs, bacon, pancakes, like pretty much anything that you want to make, any sort of meal. I make tomato sauce. If I'm doing a small batch of tomato sauce, I'll do tomato and meatballs in here and then stick them in the oven. This is such a lovely item to have in your house. It's so versatile. And again, because I now have the cast iron skillets, I pretty much never reach for any of the like traditional pots and pans that you would see on the shelves. This is such a game changer in our family. It cooks things like to perfection. Like I almost think things taste better in a cast iron skillet. I was super scared to use one the very first time I decided to start using it. It was like a really intimidating task because there's like a lot of things that you need to do to upkeep. It's really not that difficult at all. If it is dirty, I just run some hot water in the sink over top of it. Really easy to do. I have a little like cast iron scrubby brush that is just used for the cast iron if something is stuck on it. And then we just heat it up to kind of get all the water off of it, and then throw a little bit of oil in it to maintain it. If I've done something like use like butter or whatnot in there and there isn't really any residue, I'll like kind of just let it sit in there, because if there's like bacon grease or sausage grease or whatever, the next thing that I go to cook in there is going to taste even more delicious with that grease in there. So it is super, super easy to maintain, and I could not live without this gorgeous cast iron. The very next thing that I could not live without is my favorite mixing bowl. Obviously, you need to have a mixing bowl if you're doing all the things. I literally do everything with this. We make waffle and pancake batter. I will mix my sourdough bread in here. So many great things to do with this. Sometimes I defrost meat in this lovely bowl. It is such a heavy duty bowl. I actually got this one thrifting, although I have seen in other people's videos, like this is actually a fairly popular brand. I just picked it up because it was beautiful and heavy duty and lovely. So I have actually found this in a couple people's shops, like on Etsy and whatnot. So I will do my best to have it. One that is very similar linked below, but these are phenomenal bowls. We actually have cereal bowls that match this as well that I also got thrifting. And I'm like, why would you have ever given this to the thrift store? Because this is such a great bowl. It's versatile for everything. The stamp on the bottom says Roseville, Ohio on it. Look how lovely. And I just love this. It's phenomenal. If I could find one that's a little bit bigger, so I have two different sizes, I'm definitely still on the hunt for that. But this is great. Like I said, I use it for absolutely everything. It is such a versatile, functional piece to have in my kitchen, and it is a staple. I couldn't live life without it. Also, please excuse if the volume sounds a little bit different. This time around, I did add a microphone because when I started filming this video, I didn't know I was going to be filming this video. I just thought I was filming an intro and then done with all of that, but my kids are still sleeping, so I was like, let's just roll with it. So the next thing that I have on my list of staples that I have for my kitchen are my wooden utensils. I love these. I actually got these off of Amazon. And the reason why I picked these up, I've had them for a couple of years now, is because previous to this, I had a whole ton of plastic utensils and have done tons of research, gone down the rabbit hole, if you will, on microplastics in our food, in our bodies, all of that kind of stuff. So upgrading to a wooden set has been a game changer, which like, duh, I have a wooden spoon that literally I stole from my mom's house, like, I don't know, 15 years ago. And it's my favorite thing to cook with. So like, why wouldn't other wonderful wooden utensils be exactly what I want to use to cook all my food with as well? So I use all of these. I've never had an issue with them. Like, they look beautiful and shiny when you get them out of the package, and then they get super worn, but like, I kind of love how they look super worn. So these are a staple in my house. I use them for absolutely everything, every single day. They're perfect for serving when we have like dishes out, when we have people over. So these are not only gorgeous, they look gorgeous in the crock on my countertop here, but they are such a versatile tool and I love them. The very next thing that is an absolute must in my kitchen, I probably use it, I don't want to say daily, although I have had seasons where I have used it daily, but definitely every single week is my KitchenAid. I love this thing. This has been a game changer. I registered for one for my wedding because it's an incredibly expensive tool, in my opinion. Now, okay, so like there's different seasons of life, right? So like when you're younger and you don't have a lot of stuff and you're not making a ton of money yet, not that we make a ton of money now, but you're just like making less because you're much younger. This seemed like something I could never afford in my life. But even now that we're like, you know, older, so we have more income coming in, it's still a pretty expensive tool. So I had registered for it for my wedding and I was like, I'm never going to use it. And for the first few years, I didn't use it very often, maybe to like make cookies at Christmas time or make something over the holidays, but I didn't use it a ton. And then I got into both sourdough baking, making things from scratch, making my own pastas. I've got the pastas attachments, all of the things. I love this. I use it every single week. It's such a versatile tool and it is something that I would highly recommend if you are somebody who likes to bake, cook, make things from scratch. You can do so much with this. We actually just ordered a grain mill attachment so I can start milling my own grain from scratch. So I really love this piece. It's wonderful and I would highly recommend it for anybody's kitchen. The next thing on my list, which is a new favorite, she was not a favorite previously, but she's absolutely a favorite now, is my Instant Pot. I got this thing just a few months ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and she now stays on the counter all the time because it is truly a staple in my house. I constantly have bone broth going in here. I constantly have yogurt going in here. I make pot roast in here. I started to learn how to make all sorts of different meals. It is such a fun and easy item to use on a regular basis. I really, really love it. So this has become a staple. It's super versatile. Something that I have now learned that they say in the instructions, and I was kind of like, that seems like a funny instruction, but I've learned my lesson and now we're moving forward, is it tells you to get different rings for the seal, which is this guy right here. This thing comes out. And it tells you to get a savory seal and a sweet seal. And I did not listen to that instructions. And after several months, my yogurt is starting to taste a little bit like chicken broth. So I've learned my lesson. I've bought the seals. You can actually buy the seals like separately. And I bought like a bulk 3-pack, which is really, really nice. They literally just came in the mail this morning. So I will have all of that stuff linked below, including the extra seals. If you get an Instant Pot, I would highly recommend doing what the instructions tell you and have one that's more savory of a seal and one that's more sweet as a seal so that your flavors don't blend. But besides that, this has been such a game changer in our life. I really, really love how it works. I think this is the smaller one. I think it's the 6-quart, but it works perfect for our family of 4. And yeah, I really enjoy this and I would highly recommend it if you are looking for something that can cook meat quickly, that can kind of do things on the side when you're not really here. So for yogurt, it takes like 12 hours to make. I actually have a video about that. I will link it below. But for the yogurt, I literally like set it before bed. It cooks all overnight or ferments all overnight and then is ready in the morning for me to put it in jars and get it into the fridge. So I really love this. It's great. It's a great tool and it makes it so I don't have like my stove or my oven on for long periods of time. I would highly recommend this one as well. So the next thing that I love and I use on a regular basis, this is going to seem kind of silly, but like I really do use it every single day. And it is my measuring spoons. I love these. I got these off Amazon. Not only are they super functional, because like I said, I use them every single day, but look how pretty they are. They're just so lovely. And I have become of the sort of persuasion, if you will, that if you have really lovely things that you are cooking with to make all of your meals from scratch, to give you like this lifestyle that you are really wanting for your family, like if cooking can get exhausting or overwhelming, having something to do pretty to add to like the ambiance of it all is actually something that I really enjoy. It gives me pleasure. It's like, you know, one of the little pleasures in life. But I love these. We actually have one that we pretty much keep on top of our oatmeal all the time because my husband and my boys are consistently chowing down on oatmeal for breakfast in the morning. So that kind of hangs out there most of the time. And yeah, we use these, all of them, for the most part, almost every single day. The next thing on my list for things that I really love in my kitchen or I use on a regular basis is this dough cutter. My husband bought this for me. This is the funny part, right? My husband he knew it was coming. He bought this for me before I even got really into bread making. He got it for me for Christmas and I was like, thanks, bud. What is that? This was years ago. And within that year, I think it was like 2018 or 2019, within that year, I started making bread, like got a handle on it. And I really love this one. This one in particular is from Williams-Sonoma. It is heavy, heavy duty. I love it. You can find them probably cheaper in other places. I'll have a similar one linked in the description below from Amazon, but I love this. I use it to scrape the bench, if you will, bench scraper. I use it to scrape the countertops of all sorts of flour and food when it's stuck on there. I use it to cut my bread. I use it to shape things. It is a wonderful and versatile product. And I use this, again, probably on a regular basis just because I make bread so often too. It is a really helpful tool to have and I really enjoy this. The next thing on my list of like kitchen favorites, this one in particular, I just got in my latest thrift haul, which I think came out like maybe 2 weeks ago, but I've already put it to very good use, and it is this gorgeous loaf pan. It is a Faltzgraff. I love it. Like I said, I got it thrifting. It's super duper cute, so it makes like baking fun, but this is also a versatile piece because I use it to make bread. I also have other bread making pans in my cabinet as well. So like getting a getting a few bread pans is really wonderful, but this is not only wonderful for making bread. I make meatloaf in it. There's so many different things you can do with it. It is super versatile. And then in my opinion, if you are somebody who's going to get into a lot of the from scratch baking and cooking, having several is actually incredibly helpful. I have 3 of them. So I can do multiple things with them at the same time. Usually the sourdough sandwich loaf bread recipe that I follow makes 2 loaves. So I needed at least 2 when I first started out making all sorts of things. And I will have that video. I actually made a video of my favorite sourdough sandwich bread loaves, and I will link it below if you're somebody who's really getting into bread baking. It's a great recipe. It's delicious. I made 2 loaves before I went away on a little retreat this past weekend for my family. And when I came back, 2 loaves were gone. So I just love it. It's super wonderful. It's super easy to use and make, and it is a staple in my kitchen. So that about wraps it up for all of my kitchen staples, all of the things that I love, I use on a regular basis. I'm so grateful to have you guys here. I make videos every single Sunday about affordable living and intentional homemaking. I've been getting really into my homemaking lately because we just purchased this house last summer. It is a sweet little farmhouse. It's on a nice little bit of land, and we are getting things ready for the spring season. I'm so excited. Spring is just around the corner. I have a lot of fun spring homemaking content coming up for you. We've been preparing for our chickens for a little while now, so I'm excited to get all of that put together. We're going to have them in about a month, and it has just been wonderful. So if you are new, like I said, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content, and I will be back next Sunday with a brand new video. I love you all and hope you have an amazing week, my friends. Mwah! Bye.